Hi all, welcome back to my channel. So today in this session we are going to understand how we can use the activity execute pipeline activity, okay, in the Azure Data Factory. So if you see here, we have lots of activities which is available in to use to create a Azure Data pipeline, ADF pipelines. Okay, so what if we go to your Microsoft documentation about the Azure execute pipeline activity, you can see that it allow a data factory or synapse pipeline to invoke another pipeline. Okay, let's suppose there is a scenario where we have a pipeline dependent on other pipeline. Okay, so that means suppose I have this PL metadata file which I have covered in the previous section. What this pipeline is doing, I will give you a little overview. This pipeline is getting the metadata of a particular file, and if that file is equal to that file last modified date time of that file is equal to today's file, then it is going to copy that file from your input folder to output folder. So I'll show you. This is my storage account. Okay, in storage account I have two containers, input and output. I'll go to the output first and I will delete all the files which I have already let me delete these files which is already moved. So if you see here, I have two containers, input and output. In input folder, I have test data.csv file. So what this pipeline is doing, it is getting the metadata of that file. Okay, and what metadata it is reading? It is reading the last modified of that particular cust data file. How I can tell it, because it is connected to the data set. And if you open this data set, you can see that the directory it is pointing to is cust.data.csv. That means in my pipeline, this get metadata activity is trying to connect to this file and wanted to read the last modified information of that file. Okay, once it is read, it has passed this information to the if condition. And if condition, if you see what we are checking, it is a conditional expression. So we are checking with the help of the expression that whatever the get metadata output, the output is nothing but a last modified. If it is equal to current UTC time, current time, okay, if it is equal, then it will go to your then it will proceed to the next activity. And what is the next activity? If it is true, this condition is true, then there is one activity I've added here. If it is false, then there is no activity. So let me click on this pencil icon and see if this condition is true, then what will happen. If the condition is true, that means the last modified date of that file is equal to the current date, then I am going to copy that particular file, the same file you see that same file I'm going to pull it, okay, and paste it in and copy it into the sync location. And if you wanted to see what is the sync location, just open your destination data set, and if you see here, it is defined as a output directory. So that means that file will be copied to this location. So this is actually the overview of your existing pipeline which I have already created in the previous session. So in this session, the intention is to make you understand what is the execute pipeline. So let's suppose before executing this pipeline, I wanted one more pipeline to be executed. Okay, that is, I will take it as name as a parent pipeline. So if the parent pipeline or parent pipeline is executed, then only I wanted this pipeline to be executed. So how we can do that? So here let me create a simple pipeline, okay, and I'll make it as a parent pipeline. So let me give like this, give a nicer name. So this is a parent pipeline. I'll give a name, and here you can check the existence of the input folder in your storage account. That you can also check. To make this session very simple, I just wanted to use the wait activity. Wait activity is just nothing. It will wait for certain seconds. So what I'm going to do, I will make it wait for 5 seconds. So this parent pipeline is doing only what this parent pipeline is doing, it is waiting for the 5 seconds. That is the only thing that it is going to do. Okay, so if I debug it, and I will see everything went fine, it will just wait for 5 seconds and it will execute. Okay, so this is my parent pipeline. Suppose now metadata file, before reading the file and all, see it got succeeded also. This my parent pipeline is now ready. Now what I need to do, I in this pipeline is I need to modify this pipeline. So what we can see, instead of reading the file metadata of the file, what I needed to check, I needed to make sure that this pipeline is been completely succeeded. Okay, so there is a dependency of this pipeline over this pipeline. So what we can do here, to create the dependency between the pipeline, we have to use the execute pipeline. So just drag this execute pipeline before the get metadata activity here, and connect your pipeline with get metadata. So here you can give execute parent pipeline. You can give the nicer name, descriptive name. And in the setting, what you have to give the name of the pipeline, which pipeline you wanted to execute. Okay, so I have already created one, this PL parent. So I wanted, so see what I have made the changes in my existing pipeline, that I have executed a pipeline. That means I made this complete functionality dependent on this pipeline. If this pipeline is executed successfully, then only I wanted to proceed further in my further activities. And there is an option, if you see, wait on completion. Wait on completion checkbox represent that if something something, I mean, if it takes long time to execute, right? So I want my pipeline, I mean, I want my these two activities wait for the completion of this pipeline. It's not like it should not time out. Okay, for that, if you want it, then you have to click on checkbox that you wanted. Suppose at the time of when this pipeline is executing, some server get down, something like that. So you wanted this to be completed. You have a functionality that I wanted to be executed until and unless it should not go to the another activity. So it has to be like that. So validate, everything is fine, and if you can execute it. See, so we have clicked on the debug, and you can see it got succeeded here. So what it will do, the very first activity, the how we have to read this output is, we have to read it from the bottom. The very first activity is execute pipeline. So if you check the if you wanted to check the output of the this invoked pipeline, you have to given a see pipeline run ID. So this is the pipeline run ID of your pipeline PL metadata file, and we have one activity that is execute pipeline, right? For that, this is the pipeline run ID. So if you wanted to see what is the output, you have to click on this pipeline run ID. Then you can see the output of your invoked pipeline. That is, it got wait for. If you see, we have configured it for 5 seconds. So duration is the 6 seconds here. So that is what. Then and here this is the parent, see all the conditions will be, all the activities is executed. So this way I hope you understood like how we can use the execute pipeline activity in Azure Data Factory. So thank you very much, and have a happy learning to you.